to eat. And I don't recall what made this woman want to eat people, but, you know, it's a horror film. You don't always need, you know, everything explained to you. It's just the fact that this sweet old woman that looked like she could be someone's grandmother was actually having her husband lure people to their farmhouse so that she could, you know, kill them and cut them up for meat and keep them in their freezer. And that's just bizarre in itself. And it turns out the woman has 2 daughters who, you know, seem to be trying to deal with the situation in different ways. One of the daughters is really wild, has a bunch of different relationships and things like that, and gets into a lot of trouble, while the older sister seems to be the one that wants to take care of the parents, is always going to visit the parents, and seemingly tries to keep her mother out of trouble and tries to keep her from going back to her old habits. And of course, as is usual with a lot of these horror films, there is a twist at the end, which I won't spoil for you. Another really good film, low budget, but not quite as gory as some of Pete Walker's other films. I believe Schizo, I believe, was one that Pete Walker did, and for me it was a lot bloodier than this one, but they are both well-made movies and have good twists at the end and are, for the most part, easy to follow. And, you know, it's, you know, a way to spend about 90 minutes of your time and you won't get bored. Special features on this one, I don't believe that this really has anything as far as special features. So it was part of the Euroshock collection that was put out a few years ago. Again, I'm not sure if this one's still in print or not, because I've had it for several years now. But this is another good film if you don't want any intricate plots to get in the way, and you like a good twist at the end, and you like quite a bit of gore, about, I'd say, medium gore in your horror films, then I think you'll enjoy Frightmare. The next film is Misery, which I adore Kathy Bates. She is just amazing in every film that she's ever done, and like Glenn Close, she's a very versatile actress. She can be very maternal, like for instance in Dolores Claiborne. I mean, you really feel for this woman, and you would feel like you could really believe that she had been abused. But in Misery, it's, you know, the shoe's on the other foot. She's the one that's victimizing someone else who is unable to get away from her. It's based on a Stephen King novel. Of course, I'm a big-time Stephen King fan, so I'll watch any movies that are based on his books. But this is definitely one of the best adaptations I've seen of one of Stephen King's books. Granted, there are some things left out, but that happens in almost any adaptation that's filmed. This also has James Caan in it playing the victim, Paul Sheldon, who is a writer who is in a car accident, and he's rescued by his supposedly #1 fan. And while at first she seems sweet, and she's an ex-nurse, and she really seems to be taking care of him, you don't want to piss this woman off, because the minute he does, she turns into this whole other person, and it's just a complete turnaround from what she seemed to be at the beginning of the film. And as he digs deeper into her past, it gets even more bizarre, and there are some scenes that will literally make you cringe with this. I wouldn't call this a gore film by any means, but when she takes the sledgehammer to his foot, I dare anyone to sit there and not cringe. You know, my dad really had a hard time with this film at that part, when she does the hobbling, to keep him from getting out of his bed and going through her things when she's gone. And as far as special features, again, this one doesn't have a lot. It has a collectible booklet, it has an original theatrical trailer, and a teaser trailer, and that's about it. Of course, this is an older version, or an older release of this. There is a newer release that's like, it looks like a book, and I believe it has more special features. I believe it has commentary and stuff as well. But I'm going to go ahead and stop this for just a second and recharge the battery before this goes dead on me, and we will get back to some more of the films here in a bit. Okay, I'm back, and the next film we have is the film Monster, which has Charlize Theron and Christina Ricci on it. It's another one of the movies that supposedly tells the story of Aileen Wuornos, which I think has been touted as the first female serial killer. And there was a film that was made several years ago that had, and I forget the lady's name, she was on Designing Women, but she played Aileen Wuornos, and it was a really good film, but I think it was more of a made-for-television movie and couldn't really go into a lot of the details behind Aileen Wuornos' lifestyle at the time. Evidently, Aileen Wuornos was not only a female serial killer, but she was also, I guess she was bisexual, because she has a relationship with Christina Ricci's character in the film, and that's not something really that they can show on television. But that's not what made the film good. I thought the film was a lot darker, which a film of this type should be, and it really showed the flip side, the underbelly of what would be a normal society, a normal person in society. You're getting a look at someone that somewhere along the way, something in their brain just went awry. It went wrong. And I don't know that they ever really explain what happened to her to make her hate men so much, but she would literally be a prostitute. She would prostitute herself out to these men and then end up taking them somewhere secluded and killing them. Which is essentially what a lot of male serial killers do. They will take a woman out into a deserted area and then either rape and kill them or just kill them. So a lot of times she would have sex with these men and then kill them and leave them, either in the car, or I think there were times that she would take the vehicle and leave the unclothed dead body there and just leave the scene. But again, the story was really well made. I thought Charlize Theron did an excellent job as Aileen Wuornos' character, and this is not your typical Charlize Theron movie. Normally Charlize Theron looks immaculate in films and very beautiful and petite, And I believe she even gained quite a bit of weight for this film.